You're watching a video by Tik. Who the hell do you think he is?
Okay, let's make it clear. I know for a fact that I'm gonna get a ton of crap from either side, but I need to address this. I need to rant about this. This is like a big elephant in the room for me. I've not wanted to talk about this subject because I know for a fact that some jackasses will say that I'm not doing our gender proud, and some females will say I do not understand. But fan service and sexism in the video game industry. Now, let's set a couple of baselines here about where I stand with that kind of stuff. I think that the males who think that women should be nothing more than sandwich making, baby making people who don't have jobs should promptly find the nearest giant ass cliff and promptly jump off it. Because they are what's wrong with society. On the same side, I would highly recommend all those women who think of themselves as a superior gender, thinking that men should be basically the baby making, sandwich making people, to also find a cliff and jump off it for trying to basically copy society for the last 2,000, 4,000 years, but with females instead of males. I think you can see where I'm coming from. I'm one of those people that are in the middle. I feel that men should back off in what they think they're entitled to. Women should step forward a bit on what they're entitled to and basically be treated as an equal individual. Just because one of us got a dick and the other one doesn't mean anything. That's where I stand. But I feel that I need to rant about sexism and fan service in the video game industry. Now, here's one thing that you're all going to be surprised at. I'm not just talking about females, at least in the fan service one. Sexism, yeah, that is mainly male kind of stuff, but sexism involving female gamers does exist, so I'll be going over that. So, let's begin with the first of the two touchy subjects, sexism. I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, females are not encouraged to go into the games industry, blah, blah, blah. Well, here's the thing with that. What I'm going to argue. I'm about to start my third year of university. The course in question, which I am studying on, is computer and video games. They are, in the class of 32 that I'm in, there are only 2 females. Just 2. I have a couple of friends who are females as well, and I have asked them myself, why, have you ever thought about making video games? They've all told me different things, but for the most part, it has been the exact same reason. It is not within their interests. That's what people don't seem to understand, okay? Now, I'm not saying that it's a complete lie. I'm almost certain that there's developers out there, people who are just pricks and will not hire a woman just because they're a woman. I'm almost certain that there are people that are doing that, and if there are, I probably tell all those people that believe that to please jump off the nearest cliff along with the extremist males and the extremist females, because you are what's wrong with society. However, saying that those kind of people are the sole reason why females aren't very prominent in the industry, no, it's a matter of interest. And it could have been for various reasons. It could have been because of society. It could have just been because maybe they just don't want to. I know plenty of people who don't want to get a job in the games industry. Does that mean they're stupid? Does that mean they're wrong? No, it just means that they don't want to get a job in the games industry. Out of all my friends who I've known, there's only literally been about 3-4 of them that want to get into the games industry. And I've got, like, top of my head, about 25-30 friends. Are they wrong because they don't want to get a job? Is it because of some grudge? No, it's because of their personal choice. And yes, I know it is because of the video game society that females don't want to get a job in the video games industry, because most of the female gamers are male. At least on the young ones. I actually believe, let me see if I can actually find it. It was on Dorkly a while ago. It said something about females actually being... older females being more of a... what's the word I'm looking for here? Older females actually... there's actually more older female gamers than there are younger male gamers. I believe that's what it is. I am going to have to really Google search this, aren't I? Because I'm just getting... okay, yeah, I'm going to have to... more... I believe that was it. Okay, here we go. 45% of all players are women. Today, adult women represent a greater portion of the gaming player population, 31%, than the boys aged 17 and younger, 19%. So, you're thinking here, 62%, I mean not 62%, 45% of the gaming, of the entire gaming base. And, you know, an industry full of 2 billion players, nearly 1 billion of those are females. And the fact that, you know, adult women are a greater portion than boys aged 17 and under, I don't think that the games industry is really keeping women out. More women have got an interest in the games industry, so saying that, oh, there's no women in the games industry because sexism, no, it really isn't. It really isn't. Because if it was, why is it that we have nearly 1 billion female players? As I said, there's definitely some... I was going to say something there, but I didn't want to. There's definitely some organizations out there, some developers that do not hire, you know, that hire based on genders. And as I've said, if you're one of those people, please go jump off a cliff to your death. I'm not even kidding there. People can sick whatever they want on me, but you are what's wrong with society. Can't we live in a world that's equal? Anyway. So, I believe that on an organization, I'm trying to find a way to word all this, because, as I said, this is a very, very, very touchy subject, and I'm trying to word it in a way that it does not come out the wrong way. As I said, I don't believe that women aren't becoming part of the games industry because of sexism. It's just not within their interests. It's like why you don't see many men in fashion. You know, like designing fashionable things. There's a handful, sure, and most of them are big name, but for the most part, I mean, it's like perfume, that's another one. You don't see many males going into perfume. At least I've never seen any. It's mostly females. You know, Are males not allowed into the perfume industry because of sexism? No, it's because we don't want to. We don't care about perfume. We don't care at all. It's just based on the human nature of interests. Now, yes, those interests are probably shaped by past society, which, of course, was rife in sexism. That's a given. But it's something which we are trying to undo. In the last 100, 200 years, we have made leaps and bounds in the difference between the society of 4,000 years ago, where women were sandwiched, blah, 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 etc., etc. Now, we've had a fucking British, English, female Prime Minister. Finally got the word out of my mouth. We've had several females in power over the years now. Women are now a bigger part of basically everything in society than they were a good 200 to 4,000 years ago. So I don't think you can say that women aren't getting into the games industry because of sexism. It's because interests, okay? I'm ping-ponging all over the place here because I've got in the back of my head a worry that somebody's going to think of this the horribly, horribly, horribly wrong way. Now, as for sexism on a gamer level, yes, I will outright admit that sexism is out of control in basically the gaming level. I don't mean like sexism like the depiction of women. That's in fan service, that's what I'm going to get to later. I'm talking about guys being very, very sexist to people on the internet. To basically, oh, there's a girl gamer, hey, shows your tits, blah, 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 blah. Fuck you guys, okay? This is just a normal human being who just wants to play a game and you're ruining it for him, okay? Why don't I, every time you say that, why don't I come to your house and punch you right in your face? Every single time. Grow up! I mean, it's just... This is a bit where my temper starts to flare, because, as I said, I'm all for women being in a position of power, but if you bad talk somebody because of their standing, because of something as shallow as if they're a boy or a girl, you are scum! And you know what? If you think that way, you're not getting far, okay? You're going to be one of those people that is on the dole because you don't want to be part of a job that's got a woman in power. Because, hey, jackasses who think that, society's changed, okay? We're all equal here now. If your mind's still back in the 1800s, well, why don't you build a time machine and go back there? Live the life the way you want to live it. Not in the way that society deems necessary. As you can tell, I'm not very happy when gamers are sexist to one another. I don't like it when female gamers are sexist to male gamers. I don't like it when male gamers are sexist to female gamers. Okay? People have got to realize that just because males were considered the dominant gender 2,000 years ago, that shit don't apply anymore, okay? Because, hey, guess what? To make another male, it takes two and a bit of luck, okay? It takes two people, and guess who the other half is? That's right, the fucking female. And guess who's got to carry it for 9 months? That's right, the female. Guess who has to go through the pain of giving birth? That's right, the female. Okay? If you, or if anyone in your family has depicted women as they were 200 or so years ago, if it was your family, please tell them to jump off a cliff. If it was you, please jump off a cliff. Because you people disgust me. Whenever a male insults a female, just because of their gender, I hate being a male a little bit more. Now, obviously, I'm still glad I'm a male. I am who I am. I'm a guy. I'm happy with who I am, but I lose faith in the male gender whenever somebody is sexist. And I don't mean sexist in a joking sense where both sides know it was a joke. I get that. That's perfectly fine. But when it's a deliberate attack on their pride, a deliberate insult, I lose faith in my own gender when it's... And, of course, if it's a female saying that to them, I lose faith in the female gender, okay? One hot topic down. Let's talk about sex appeal in the video game industry. I'm mentioning this of both females and males, because despite what females believe, we males have also been shafted a lot in the fan service, mainly down to stereotypes. Now, I will say this, and this is probably going to completely devaluate everything I say. I do like me some fan service in video games. Here's the thing, in my defense. It is a basic human reaction. It is a basic human reaction. I'm not meant to like the look of what I see. Is that what you're getting at? You don't wish for me to basically be part of a basic human instinct. Now, I know what a lot of people are going to say. Oh, you're a pig. You're only in it for the fan service. No. Okay? I don't like blind fan service. If there's fan service for a reason, yeah, sure. If it's fan service for a joke, then yeah. But if it's just blind fan service, I get irritated. Let me say an out of video game example. High School of the Dead. That anime is absolutely chock full of fan service for the male demographic. I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy the fan service. However, that wasn't the main reason I kept watching. I kept watching because the characters were developed, the action scenes was nice, it was overall a solid anime. It's the reason why I play the Hyperdimension Neptunia series. Yes, it is full of fan service. Yes, I do enjoy it. However, it is not because of the fan service that I play these games. I play them because I love the comedy into it. The characters are energetic. It takes the piss out of the video game industry. These are two prime examples of how just because something has fan service in it does not instantly make it the devil. But it doesn't necessarily make it right. I'm going to go back to High School of the Dead on this one. My least favorite episode in High School of the Dead was episode 6. People who have seen the anime probably know the entire reason why, but for those that have not seen the anime, without giving many spoilers away, I will basically just say what it is. Basically, the entire episode 6 involves the female cast of survivors taking a bath together. That is it. That is pretty much 95% of the episode. There's a little bit of the two male characters just finding a gun stash and worked on loading up the guns and such, and then finding out that something bad's happening, but 95% of it is fan service. There's even a scene where one of the other female characters is walking around with nothing but an apron and a thong. That's it. Okay? I don't like that episode for the sole reason as it is nothing but fan service. I do not like needless fan service. I'm going to go for another anime. This one I am going to bring up a statement that somebody said. I know that person is subscribed to me. I know what I'm going to say is probably going to piss them off. I just want to ask you to hold back on retorting and just listen to it fully on my stance. There's a scene in the anime Gargantia on the Venomous Planet in which the mecha, or one of the main characters' mecha, Chamber, partly sinks a boat to make an artificial beach. 3 of the female characters proceed to strip off into bikinis. Somebody then began to badmouth it, in which I must respond, what else are you going to do at a beach? It's hot, it's sunny, you can swim in the sea. Why is it a problem that they strip off into their bikinis and not get their normal clothes wet? I know that there are people that go to the beach and don't, they're all covered up and such, but they're usually doing that for medical reasons. Or for caring reasons. Say, like, if somebody wants to go to the beach, their carer will be there. They won't usually be in a bikini, they will be dressed formally. However, in this case, it wasn't in a choice of caring, it was the fact that they just wanted to relax and cool off in the sea. And yet that is considered sex appeal, or fan service, or whatever. Sex appeal, fan service, they're pretty much the same thing. I fail to see the problem with that thing, but I'm sidetracking here. Because this is not about anime, this is about fan service in video games. As I said, I do enjoy fan service in video games. I will completely admit that. But I'm not a fan of needless fan service, or fan service focused areas. Whenever something basically puts fan service in when there's no reason to, or if the entire if the entire series or game has got fan service through it, decides instead to basically focus an entire area solely on fan service for no reason. Okay, like, there was a scene in Prince of Persia: Sands of Time, a small bit where basically the prince and Farah basically meet up and they basically have sex. Okay, now people might say, oh, that is needless fan service, but the thing is, that was actually relevant to the plot because Prince fell asleep and then Farah took his weapons from him. I don't think fan service is a bad thing in video games. I think that it's a bad thing in video games when it is that and nothing that. Now, I did mention earlier that when I said about fan service, I mentioned both females and males, because one of the issues I have with pretty much 95% of all male protagonists is that they are normally depicted as incredibly handsome, incredibly charming, and very, very muscular. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm attractive, but I wouldn't say I'm ugly either. I'd say that I'm the average guy. I don't have any of the personalities of any of the main protagonists. In fact, I have a personality similar to several villains. I think I'm a bit of a loose cannon, like Zagi from Tales of Vesperia. In fact, the only male protagonist that is a little bit like me is, what's it called, Henchi from My Teen Chemical Comedy Romance. It's some anime, I didn't see a lot of it. But I've noticed that a lot of the things that are similar to me is not in the protagonist. Not only that, but I'm a geek. I will openly admit that I'm a geek. A nerd, geek, call me what you will. But the fact of the matter is, I would much rather spend my time sitting in front of my computer playing video games than going outside with friends. You know what fan service has done to us, our demographic? They've shunned us. They've basically made us the butt of the jokes. There have been very, very few geeky heroes. Or if they are, they go from geeky to your stereotypical protagonist. And that irritates me. Because I'm not a person that is good at sports. I don't even try with sports. My stamina is terrible. I can only run for like 10 seconds and I'm out of breath. That's how bad my stamina is. I'm not exactly muscular. I only weigh about 8 stone. I'm broad-chested, but I've got next to no muscle. I mean, half stone. I'm 6 foot. I'm severely underweight for my age and height. I won't say I'm exactly charming. I mean, I probably have some form of charm about me. Otherwise, how do I have friends if I don't have some form of charm, but not like the kind that will get people swooning? I think you can see what I'm getting at here. I will admit that fan service is very heavy on the female side, but we males get shafted on the fan service a lot, and nobody bats an eyelid to it. I'm sitting here looking at the next... let me think of a... what's something that's coming out soon that everyone's really excited for? Maybe I should just think of something that came out later. Okay, Gears of War, that's a good example. All these people are just like, yeah, Marcus Phoenix is a badass, blah, blah, blah. I'm just sitting here just saying, seriously, guys? Another overly muscular guy? I mean, it's like, even in Saints Row the Third, you can't... Saints Row the Third, oh, God. Let's get one thing clear. I like Saints Row the Third as a game. Okay? It's a hell of a lot of fun. And I understand that it is basically taking the piss out of everything. And it's not taking itself seriously. But it depicts us geeks as, well, scum, really. I mean, the monster think, we can't go like this, and we live with our mother and such. Okay, I will admit, I live with my parents still, but that's because I'm in fucking university. I don't have a job yet. Yeah, you can't use that stereotype anymore. But it's like, Saints Row the Third makes one of the geeky characters just... I'm a geek, yeah. And then you have your male protagonist who can just be like this really muscle-bound guy with a huge cock and all that kind of stuff. And it's just... just like how fan service depicts women as overly sexualized people, fan service does not depict males as your everyday male character. And it's even worse than the females, I think. Because you can have a female in a video game that is visually appealing to males. You know, big breasts and all that kind of stuff. Like freaking the sorcerer from that one game, Dragon's Crest or something like that, I think it's called. And then, of course, you got... But, you know, they can also be strong, independent people, like Lara Croft. I mean, let's face it, she became more fan-serving until the reboot. But, you know what? She was still an independent woman. With males, it is not the case. You're either a buff guy or you're out. Okay? If you're a geek, you're gonna be kicked into the curb. This has been the case ever since the old movies. Like, if you look in the Back to the Future one. Very beginning, George's dad... I mean, no. George McFly is a nerd, and he is bullied for it. And he thinks that because he's a nerd, he can't fight for himself. No, I can plenty fight for myself. Okay? I fight for what I believe in. But the point is that fan service has destroyed what an average male and female is in games. There are very few times now where you run across somebody who actually could be mistaken for an average male and average female. Valkyria Chronicles comes into mind. Well, King Gunther, the main protagonist, is a male. And you know what? He seems very much like your average guy. Sure, he's smart as hell, but he still seems like your average guy. He's not like stupidly muscular. He's kind of an airhead, in fact. But you know what? I can relate to Welkin. He is closer to an actual male character than any of the characters I've seen in a video game. Like, please, can somebody tell me one game in which you play your average character, everything's average about you, you know? And I know what people are going to say. Well, nobody's going to do that because it's boring. Okay. It's just, I get that. But that's the problem. No game has depicted anybody as your average male. Just like, in fact, no. There have been games that have depicted people as your average female. Granted, it's been exaggerated at some points, but for the most part, you get your average guy. The only games I can think of that depict males as your average guy is Left 4 Dead. A game about shooting zombies features people who are more of your average Joe than any other game I have played. I'm sorry, but I find that as a major, major problem. It's the same thing of why females are depicted as these overly sexualized, scantily clad people. Yeah, sure, that's fan service for you. Same thing with us. Guess what? People complain about female fan service. They don't fucking bat an eyelid to the male fan service. The stuff that basically brings down us geeks. Because, hey, I'm proud to say I'm a geek. You know, geeks get all the money. Look at fucking Bill Gates, richest man in the world. He's a major geek. So, hey, I'm willing to say, oh yeah, I'm a geek. But the stereotype has been set in due to fan service, due to sexism, everything. I have no idea what I meant with that last sentence. I'm hoping someone can understand what I just said, because I'm just, once again, trying to word it without making it seem wrong. So, I'm not going to do this in many of my other videos, but let's just summarize basically what this rant has gone over. Women are not part of the games industry development stuff because of sexism. It is not because of that, it is more down to the fact that they are just not interested. On a gamer level, people who use sexism as an insult are scum and should promptly jump off a high cliff. Same with organizations who hire based on gender, I call it gender for the most part. Fan service, while is unnecessary on a few points, so long as it is not the sole focus, I fail to see a problem. People may say that it does degenerate women, and in some cases it does, I will fully admit that. However, males have been degenerated by fan service themselves for ungodly amounts of years, and no one has yet complained. So, as I said, I've probably kicked the hornet's nest here. This is a very deep-seated topic. There is no right or wrong answer as far as I'm concerned. I've opened up the can of worms. Let's watch them wiggle. I'll catch you guys next time.